Republicans on this committee since January have done more to push back against China on so many topics that the gentlelady from Florida is just so misguided when she's talking about Republicans and China. I support Made in America and Buy American Made. We have a robust automotive sector in this country, and it will include EVs if the market is there. I align myself with comments from Mr. Carter. I have a rural district. I have a Ford dealership that is forced to put in charging stations at his dealership. His EVs on the lot he can't sell because they just don't work in rural America. Dealers need to sell units. They're forced by the manufacturer to put in charging stations after they were forced by the manufacturer to improve their facade and do a lot of work on their showrooms. There's got to be a return on investment, and when the EVs are sitting there unsold, there is none. You talked about pushing incentives to incentivize the industry. The government spends so much money now, we're, $34 trillion in debt today? I mean, when's enough spending enough to incentivize people to purchase something or a manufacturing company to manufacturing something when the market isn't there? You want to talk about China? China controls most of the rare earths in the world. They own the mining rights, and they do it in such an environmentally insensitive way. If you believe in the environment, you should also believe in the environmental practices that American mining companies do in a much more environmentally sensitive and cleaner way. And we don't do it with child labor because we have labor standards. China doesn't, and they're using child labor in Africa to mine this lithium that is so toxic. And guess what? They're not using EV articulating loaders. They're using diesel-powered loaders to move that earth. So China, they're going to provide a lot of electrical vehicles in this country. But the technology that exists today, and I've read many articles on this, gives the Chinese companies and the Chinese Communist Party the ability to spy on Americans, even if it's sitting in your driveway. We push back against China spying with TikTok. We see where Chinese companies are heavily involved in automotive industry and battery production in places like Michigan. The Chinese Communist Party seems to be the one that's pushing us toward electrification. We know Russia gave money to environmental groups to go after the fossil fuel industry. Why? Because they don't want us to be energy dominant and or energy independent. They want to weaken America. I believe that's the same goal of the Chinese Communist Party through this push. So I'm not going to sit here and sit idly by and not respond when we have pushed against the Chinese influence in America, against Chinese mining practices that are environmentally unsound, against this push toward electrification where the grid can't support it, where generation isn't there. Made America, Buy American. The American automotive sector needs to be strong because they also produce a lot of vital components for our United States military. And they did during World War II, and if we have a circumstance in the future, they will step up and build the tanks and the trucks and the airplanes and the other things we need, just like Henry Ford did during World War II. But if they don't exist anymore because we've moved toward electric vehicles, there's not going to be an industry to help us defend this country. A robust, strong American manufacturing sector is necessary. And another thing that's necessary in my 38 seconds is a robust and strong American energy sector where we use the resources that we're given in this country. We're blessed with natural gas and oil, but we're also blessed with technology and the brain power to do the renewables as well. It's all inclusive. And Republicans on this side of the aisle believe in renewables, and we believe in generation from all sources to meet the power demands that are necessary to fuel your electric vehicles, which we acknowledge are a part and will be a part of the fleet. But let the market do that. Let the consumer do that. And that's what these bills do. And I yield back.